Video, just want to talk about my thoughts on the Jake Paul versus the Mike Tyson bout that's about to happen on Friday. I personally would like Mike Tyson to win. I'm a fan of Mike Tyson. I think he's a great boxer, one of the greatest of all time. And he's 58 years old right now. Jake Paul is 27, so there's like a 31-year age gap. I think that it's just basically just testing to see what Mike Tyson can do at that age, and that's kind of something that's rare to see a professional boxer have like a real boxing match at that age. So if he does lose, it's not, all it's indicating is that he couldn't really perform at that level at that age. But from what I've seen, what I've heard from him, what I've read in articles, he seems like he's in great shape for his age, a lot better shape than a lot of ex-professional boxers that are around that age range. I think a lot of professional boxers might even pass away before that age. So for him to be able to keep doing what he's doing and training and representing a pretty high level for that age, I think it's an inspiration, can serve as an inspiration for a lot of people that love boxing, love martial arts, love combat sports, even when you're no longer at the prime or the peak of your athletic performance. I think specifically with martial arts and combat sports, a lot of times there's so much energy and attention that's brought to the people that are at the peak of their athletic performance, and then once you get older, you typically get forgotten about, or just no longer at center stage. So I think this is an opportunity for Mike Tyson to just kind of reignite that inspiration for people that are older, that are beyond their youthful years, and to continue to train and represent a high level. I personally feel that there's just a lot of disrespect from the younger generation towards the older generation. And of course, as myself, getting older myself, I'm gonna be hoping that the younger generation can learn to respect the older generation. I feel that there's just too much attention and value that is put into people that are too young and really might not have the intelligence or the wisdom to properly guide masses of people. It takes experience, leadership, wisdom, and time to get to the point where you can be a responsible leader. And when people are at the height of their athletic performance abilities, they typically are not going to be capable of guiding masses of people towards the greater good. So I personally would like to see, Mike Tyson pull off a win and just kind of gain more respect for, it's almost like fighting for the respect for the older generation of people. We already know what the younger people could do. They're all over the sport, professional sports. You're not going to really see a 58 or 60-year-old in the NFL or even the NBA, because in order to perform at that level, there's a certain shelf life. You don't have your whole life to be able to do that. There's only like a time period where you're gonna be able to perform at that level. And as far as like Jake Paul's abilities, I see that he seems to be pretty talented, and he works pretty hard, and he has a lot of fame, a lot of money, a lot of influence. I think that he is basically presenting an opportunity for Mike Tyson to be able to kind of continue on with his legacy and to keep him within the minds of the public of this current generation, and to you know, because what ex-boxer is going to be able to make that type of money at that age? So to me, in my opinion, I think Mike Tyson doesn't really have anything to lose other than potentially being like seriously injured, maybe getting a serious concussion. But other than that, I think his reputation, it is what it is. And I don't, you know, even if he did lose this match, I don't think it's going to change his reputation in a negative way, because to me, the greatest loss that he's ever experienced was going to be his first loss against Buster Douglas. And that was in the height of his career. You know, he was undefeated and he was expected to win, and then he lost in very, you know, in dramatic way, and that really became kind of like the downfall of his career from there. And I don't think he could ever experience anything worse than that loss. This, if he does lose this match, it's not because of anything about him. It's just because of time and his age and what type of limitations come with age. And then of course being able to make a lot of money, you know, for essentially just doing what he loves anyway. I think it's a golden opportunity for him. I think it's an opportunity for him to serve as an inspiration, continue to serve as an inspiration. As far as Jake Paul is concerned, I think he's just very, very business savvy, and he just knows how to generate attention and generate money, generate interest. As far as his skill level in boxing, I wouldn't consider him one of the greatest for certain, and I wouldn't consider him one of the top boxers in the world for his weight class, because if he was really truly that skilled, you know, he should be fighting against the champions that are current right now. But obviously he's not at that level of ability and skill, but he is at a good enough level where he can win some matches against talented people, but he's not going to be able to perform the same against people that primarily focus in that sport, and that's all they do, and they're at the prime and the peak of their athletic expression. So for example, you know, from what I know, the current champion would be like Alexander Usyk. You know, Anthony Joshua couldn't beat him, tried twice. Tyson Fury couldn't beat him. You know, he's undefeated, but his name is not as a big appeal as Mike Tyson, you know, but his skill is just, you know, he's at the top of his game, and it's very clear. I would say, in my opinion, he would completely demolish Jake Paul if he tried to fight him. But for Jake Paul, it's kind of like, well, I already know I'm going to lose, and then this match is not going to really generate as much income because this person is not as famous as someone like Mike Tyson. So when he chooses to box against someone like Mike Tyson, he's basically looking at it in a perspective where, hey, you know, this is going to maximize profits for the both of us, and it's going to generate more attention. And in this situation, because of Mike Tyson's age, you know, I actually have a chance because I'm 31 years younger. You know, but if he's going to be fighting against people around his age group and people who are at the top of their game and they're current champions, in my opinion, he'd be completely demolished. So it's not really that he's like highly skilled in boxing. It's more so that he's kind of one of the masters of marketing and generating attention and generating revenue. And he even did it with Floyd Mayweather, Jr., and being able to generate a lot of interest and create a boxing exhibition that pretty much probably made something the most money ever made in a boxing match. So it's just like very, very business savvy, and that's just who he is. And honestly, I don't really pay attention to much of that stuff going on, because I'm about the martial arts. I'm about the Jeet Kune and the Chinese martial arts and things like that. But because there's not that much content out there about martial arts and Jeet Kune and things like that, it's like I have two options. I either just stay silent and say nothing, or I speak about a topic that might be interesting for the audience. And I guess this is one of the things that people tend to talk about. But those are my thoughts.